Hey, thanks for pressing play, and welcome once again to another edition of the Suns Jam Session Podcast, live on the BLEAV Podcast Network and brought to you by the good guys at FanDuel, where if you're making bets like I am on Devin Booker to hit 2 threes, just stop doing it. You should be betting on Grayson Allen. I think we're all learning that you need to be betting on Grayson Allen, but make sure you stop by FanDuel if you are so inclined to place some bets. Suns win again, Jamsters. Look at that score, 121-98. It's a beautiful thing to see. Going against a team that's down. They're down on their luck. They're down on their injuries. And you know what? They take advantage and execute the way that they should. So we're going to talk about that and much, much more. So make sure that you press that thumbs up button, subscribe wherever you're watching this content, rate, review if you're ever so inclined. Helps with the metrics and such. But let's get into the show.
Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
What's up? Are you on mute?
That I am. Matthew, how
Very
you doing,
cool.
my friend?
Oh, doing great, dude. I can't believe the Suns handle business like this, dude. Actually, I can. This Sun seems amazing. I can't get over it, dude. I have a big smile on my face watching the whole game, even though it's a 30-point blowout.
You know, it's a Monday night. Tomorrow's Veterans Day. I don't have a beer to crack, but I got a beer poured. And you know what? I think this is a chugging with the fellas time.
Oh,
you think I should chug one?
Bring it back. Do it. Chugga, 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 chugga. A choo-choo. Oh, dude.
Let's go, man.
I forgot about that. I forgot chugging with the fellas. That's back this year because this team is playing where they deserve the chugging with the fellas, right?
They're giving you reasons to chug, man.
Yeah.
This team gives you reasons to chug. In fact, brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I've got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask, does this team give you reasons to chug with the fellas?
Was that really your question you were going to ask me? Yeah, it really does. It brings it back. It's like more of a community now. Because I just feel like the way the Suns are playing, it just kind of represents our fan base, just working hard, the hard-working Americans, right? The blue collar, or is it the white-collared Americans? I don't even know. Blue collar. Yeah, that's what we are here in Chandler, Arizona, or Phoenix, or Tempe, Arizona. So yeah, they deserve it.
Well, for those of you who are newer to the fan base, and maybe you weren't around, or maybe you weren't watching the podcast, or very interactive on the socials back in 2021 when the Suns made a run to the NBA Finals, there was a little trend that was going on. Surging Suns on Twitter started a trend called chugging with the fellas. And during the playoffs, after every game that the Suns would win, you'd chug a beer. And tonight is one of those nights where you're starting to feel a movement here in Phoenix. Because to your point, Matthew, win or lose to this point, 11 games into the season, the team is now 6-5 on the year. To this point in the season, it's a team that makes you proud to at least watch. And it's a team that you can actually watch. It's a team that's digestible. And yes, there's been some losses along the way. And even in those losses, we've sat and had conversations on our post-game podcast, in the articles that we write for Bright Side of the Sun, talking about the positive things that we're seeing occur with this team and how this is all progression versus digression. And there's engagement versus disengagement. And there's a level of communication and connectivity that exists on this team. And it's easy to enjoy this because of the juxtaposition compared to just a season ago where that team was just dead on arrival, whereas this one arrives with life and looks absolutely great. So, yeah, it's definitely one of these teams that, man, I could chug with the fellers every night. Now, granted, I also have work off tomorrow. So
I was going to say, you have work off, right? I don't. Of course, my company doesn't have anything off, but maybe Christmas. We'll see. I got Scrooge up there as my boss. I think that...
Ebenezer.
He's still alive, and he's working for Kaizen. I'm just kidding. If everybody's watching from work. All right. Well, anyways, the Suns right now, when you're to start the season, man, it started 1-0, and then obviously they go 1-4. But we knew during that losing streak, the Suns were still okay. Like they went on their little they they kind of just had to find themselves in a way in the NBA right now where there's a lot of injuries happening right now. There might be some coaches firings tomorrow, maybe who might be Willie Green, who knows. But there's going to be a lot of adjustments within the first 10 games of the season where the Suns hit the mark the last few games where they really found themselves and found a really good groove where they can come out against a Pelicans team where you would think they would play down to the competition maybe, but that's not the Suns team. They're going to keep it up the whole game, put their foot on their throat the whole game. They're not going to give up the actual effort, maybe in the third quarter a little bit, but that's the best part about this team is you're going to get their best every minute on the court. It doesn't matter what the score is. It doesn't matter if they're down. It doesn't matter if they're up by 30. They're going to play the same way. And that's really the best part about the Suns team. And it's something we experienced all year. Now it's just resulting in wins, I feel like.
Yeah, and like you said, even in their losses, and a couple of them were bad losses. And it's almost deceiving who this team is for the first 10 games it was, because those losses were so bad to the Clippers and the Nuggets that they kind of tanked some of the metrics on the team. After or entering this game, this is a team that is hovering in close to the bottom third in a lot of the offensive, defensive, net rating metrics. But if you just subtracted those two games, which is always kind of a funny thing because anybody can do that, right? It's like, well, if you just take out my two bad weeks, it's like if you do a pigskin pick'em with your family and you have one bad week. Well, if we take the one bad week out, like I'm a really good at picking teams. It's the same thing here, but those two games were so bad. If you took them out, this team becomes almost like a top 10 offensive, defensive, and net rating team, and that's carrying over because now that trend is starting to find itself a little bit longer. It's 11 total games that they've played now. They're 6-5 again. In a tough Western Conference, it's going to be a struggle throughout the season. But that brings me kind of my first bright side topic, Matthew.
Tell me the
Bright side.
The bright side of this game is the fact that the team did what they're supposed to do, man. They came out against a vastly undermanned and injured Pelicans team that's constantly fighting to understand what their culture is, that's constantly fighting what the injury report is. And they TCOB'd. They took care of business. Yeah, it was a little shoddy at the front end of the game. They were shooting a ton of threes that weren't falling. And it's how the game began. Like the Suns were up 2-0 after 3 minutes, and they were 1 of 5 from the field. And the Pelicans were 0 of 5. And then all of a sudden, boom, the Pelicans went on a little run. The Suns trailed for 3 minutes in this game. And then they just took off. But they took off and they never seceded again. This is the third game in this last 5-game, stretch or 6-game stretch of games where the team is 5-1, where they've gone up big and they've maintained the lead. How nice is it to absorb and watch a team that you don't have to worry about that? Because again, as we will continue to do, comparing to last year, that team would go up 20 and they'd give up that lead and they'd get happy on the farm instantly and become disengaged. Whereas this team, it doesn't happen, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. I do like how you pointed out the first quarter because the Suns, they only had the 2 turnovers, and it looked like a Pelicans team that came out, wanted to fight. They were scrappy. They were closing up the passing lanes. They were getting in the way of the Suns. The Suns were having trouble just even dribbling the ball, kind of picking up at times and double teams and stuff like that. But the Suns calmed things down. They kind of just held their own. And I really think getting out to the 29-22 start from the Suns, it looks good, but it didn't look that good on the court at times. But that's the composure this team has. I talked about it last podcast where they go through these tough stretches where the defense is like they're out to get them. Like they want to make their mark, but the Suns continue to like get through these stints and, like you said, come out the other side up 20, up 30, not wanting to give up that lead, not letting it get down to like 18 or 19 points, and to continue to push like the gas. And that's exactly where it starts as the first quarter. Like the beginning of the season, they were having a tough time in the first half. Now the first half is like the Suns' game. Like they figured themselves out really quickly and how to maneuver the game and how to adapt to what the team's given them. And it's just been so majestic in the first half. Usually the first half of the last few years, like I'll be like, oh, I'll miss the first quarter, be okay. Like I'll figure it out, right? Now I just want to sit down and watch tip-off. I even want to listen to Tom Chambers talk for about 30 minutes and see what he has to say about the pregame. Man. Yeah, I want to be ready for tip-off. Like that's how good the season's been so far.
Yeah, it's been a refreshing start. So tell me, what's on your bright side list? What did you see tonight that was that caught your attention, that caught your eye?
Man, the man of the 2.5-hour game.
Let me tell you a little story about a guy who shoots threes. Everyone hates him because he's a dookie. He's pretty underrated if you're asking me. His name is Grayson Allen.
I mean, what, 42 points?
42
a
points,
career
man.
a career high at 10 3-points made and a Suns franchise record. Brilliant night, right?
42, a career night. His previous career high, 40 points his rookie season, 12 of 17 from the field, 10 of 15 from beyond the arc. He also had the audacity to have 4 assists and 3 steals in this game.
Yeah.
He was just on an absolute heater, and I absolutely loved seeing him do it because, again, I've talked about it a couple times. I wrote an article about it on Bright Side of the Sun that he truly is kind of the underappreciated member of the Phoenix Suns over the past 3 seasons. He's the second longest tenured Sun on this team. He quietly goes out, does what he needs to do to contribute. Does he have lapses on defense? But at times, but he is somebody who puts pressure on the cylinder, can shoot the 3-ball, and the 3-ball has looked absolutely fantastic this season. And again, 66% from beyond the arc tonight, already adding to totals, which are, top tier in Suns history. And he did all of this, Matthew, 27 minutes, 31 seconds played, 42 points. You want to talk about efficiency? 42 points on 17 field goal attempts in 27-31. That's unbelievable, dude.
No, it's ridiculous. It's like Klay Thompson style in a way. Like when he hit that, what was it, a third quarter where he had like 24 points, something like that.
No,
but
he had more than that. It was like 30,
32 or something.
Yeah,
that's what it reminded me of tonight.
And he dribbled the ball like 5 total times.
Yeah, he was dead on. And tonight with Grayson Allen, the Suns kept trying to find him. Like they weren't kind of leaving him out. And like the Suns used to do that in the past, where some guy get hot and then he would just go stand in the corner and the team would kind of forget about him. Grayson Allen was taking the ball. He was making sure that he made himself known. Obviously, defensively, the Pelicans going to keep up with him. Grayson Allen, I know it's shocking to say, but he's been that guy this year. And obviously the Pelicans defense is a little worse when you have, I think it's Hawkins trying to guard him on the perimeter.
Yeah.
And then I think Allen loses him within 2 seconds every time they have the possession. So Allen did his part and continue to stay open. And they're talking about on the broadcast, it was like, well, he's not even tired. It's like, well, he's only played, like he said, the 26, 27 minutes. Like he's usually playing 35? Was he averaging 36 minutes a game right now? Like, he's used to playing the long stints right now, being the starter, and I hope to God he still stays a starter. But even tonight on defense, man, like with Saddiq Bey in the third quarter was trying to like back him down, or second quarter, like this is when Grayson obviously had the 18 points in the first half and the 4 assists. That's where he got all his assists. Mm-hmm. But the way he just did not give up any kind of room defensively, just like, fuck you, dude. And like he is just that guy right now where it's like he's not the fuck shit up guy anymore. But he's just like he's like Jason Statham, dude. And he's like Jason Statham in like a movie where like they take his daughter. He's just out there because he has to win every game to get his daughter back or something like that. Like
it's more like
that's the way he's
Liam
playing.
Neeson in Taken. He's like, I've got certain set skills. And it's just him just chucking threes the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. It could be him or But I think that he's earned that, right? He's our movie star. I think I had some kind of like analogy where someone wasn't a movie star or something like that. Oh yeah, Ryan Dunn, but he's a movie star for sure. Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen. He's just like Maverick in Maverick, right? He's Tom Cruise in Maverick. He's like the old guy with the gray in his hair. He's like, you know what? I'm still a son of a bitch. And he's only in his 8th season. We're getting prime Grayson Allen, and he was part of a very key run for the Phoenix Suns in that second quarter.
Ooh, dang, stat me.
So in that second quarter, the Phoenix Suns had a very interesting start, right? 6 minutes, they started and played the following lineup. Colin Gillespie, Grayson Allen, Isaiah Livers, Royce O'Neal, and Oso Ighodaro. That combo played the first 6 minutes. In the second quarter, they were plus 17. They put together a 25-8 run. They were 9 of 11 shooting and 7 of 9 from beyond the arc. Now, Grayson Allen, of those 25 points, had 11 of them. He was the catalyst, but that's ultimately what changed the game. That was the point in the game where everything changed because they were kind of struggling. Again, they were up 29-22 at the end of the first quarter. It felt like it should have been much more of a lead, but because they didn't shoot very well, I think they were 18% from beyond the arc in the first quarter.
Yep.
They ballooned the league and never looked back. So that's kind of plays into my bright side, if you will. Was just that stint there in the third quarter where I was just like, the second quarter where I was like, man, that's some fantastic basketball. Another guy who gets to be written down in the bright side book, if you will.
Coach Sparty, money has bought. Yes, he's Jordan. He's Jordan Ott.
I mean, you can't say enough about Jordan Ott, and it's the little things. And I had written down in my notes, and then I think K-Ray said it at the back end of the game. There's something that he's doing, when it comes to calling timeouts. And this is the Matthew thing, right? Like, you're the timeout guru. You're the guy who's like, dude, this guy calls timeouts appropriately or doesn't know when to call a timeout. And he does it at these subtle momentum shifts, and it's been masterful thus far this season. And there's a couple times where the Pelicans get it down to 23. They get it down to 21, which sounds ridiculous. But I feel like in the past, whether it's Vogel or Budenholzer and Monty Williams a lot, they let it go down to like 15 points before they'd call that timeout. Yeah. And that's really something that, again, it's subtle, but it's another thing that I enjoy about watching Jordan Ott. He takes timeouts at the right time.
Yeah, I did notice that, but I kind of went the other way with his timeout calling in the third quarter. I don't know why. Like, I did write it down, but it was in my burn book, so I'll save it for the burn book. It didn't really have to do with the lead, but it had to do with substitutions and guys I wanted to see at certain times in the game when it was kind of a blowout. But yeah, I mean, I think Ott's obviously, this is like the third or fourth time he's been in the good vibes segment, right? Yeah. Like we're really feeling this guy right now. And I want to ask, does he chew tobacco or no? Because I feel like he chews tobacco. Is he a tobacco chewer?
Not that I've seen. I've met him a couple times. I don't see him rocking a dip. He's not like he's like Torey Lavello or something.
Well, speaking of spitting guys out, this guy.
Yeah. Mark Williams is a bad man. Yeah. Ripping rebounds, blocking shots, playing like a madman. Yeah. Crowd go wild when he raised that hand. Pain in the paint, that's the master plan. Williams is a bad man.
I know 4 points the whole game, 0 points in the first half, but this guy defensively right now, he didn't start out. He's an okay defender, right? But he's right now kind of moving up in the rankings when it comes to a lot of centers out there when it comes to advanced stats, but just the basic stats of keeping guys out of the paint. Like he makes sure that he's grabbing the rebounds now. And it's always one thing I talked about is the team rebounding every single podcast, but it's more than that. Like he's kind of owning the defense right now where he's kind of settled down and he's finding his way, and he's like just making sure that he maneuvers and like controls the defense. Like it's his own defense now. He's a threat, I feel like, don't you think, on the defensive side of the ball, or is it just me?
No, 100%. He's long. That's the thing that I've been, again, from a holistic defensive standpoint, he has the size to guard down low. Yes, does he lose sometimes in one-on-one matchups? But you know what? He makes other guys lose when he's on offense and they're on defense too. But his length adjusts. There was a couple shots by Jeremiah Fears, rookie, playing for him that I think the Pelicans took 7th overall, maybe earlier, but they
no, it was 7th.
Right. So they took him 7th, and then they traded up to get Derek Queen, and that's why 13th. They don't have 13th, and they don't have their first round pick next year. Atlanta owns it to get Derek Queen. But there's a couple instances where Jeremiah Fears was driving to the basket. Mark Williams was there, and he forced him to put a little extra on his floater because he thought that it was going to get blocked, and ultimately it was a brick. And another thing that he does well defensively is his closeout ability. Again, it's just enough to deter, I feel like, and that's important because if you think about it in the NBA, a closeout can ultimately feel pointless because how many times does somebody actually block? If you're Nigel Hayes-Davis, you're landing in their landing zone and you're getting a flagrant foul because you're trying to close out. So it's very rare that you're actually going to get a block, but the goal of a closeout is to deter, is to distract. And Mark Williams, given his size and his length, when he does have closeouts where on PNR coverage and he drops a little bit and they try to shoot above the screen, he'll jump at it. And in this game, again, granted, it's against a team that's not very good. It's against a team that went 10 of 32, 31.3% from beyond the arc, but he deters enough and distracts enough to force misses or at least give the appearance of so. And so, I absolutely love what I'm seeing from Mark Williams consistently. Again, the 2 points, 6 rebounds, it hurt my parlay. I had him going for 10 points and 6 rebounds. I was like, okay, because he's not going to put up massive rebound totals, but he's going to box out enough to where the rest of his team can. And you can see that because this team, the Suns, ultimately out-rebounded the Pelicans 42-40. But here's what's interesting, okay? 5 rebounds from Dylan Brooks, 5 rebounds from Royce O'Neal, 6 rebounds from Mark Williams, 2 from Grayson, 4 from Ryan Dunn, 0 from Booker, slacking. Jordan Goodwin had 5, Oso had 5. Colin Gillespie, Isaiah Livers, and Nigel Hayes-Davis all had 1. Come on, Malawach had 2. Nick Richards had 5. Nobody had more than 6 rebounds on this team. To your point, this team does an amazing job thus far against a shitty team of team rebounding. And Mark Williams is a big part of that because he's the guy who's like, listen, they've got Kevon Looney, who didn't play a ton of minutes. They've got Derek Queen. I'm just going to move these guys out of the way. You guys go get the boards.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too where it's just all out effort. And he's a perfect example of like the box score where I don't like to look at it really till the end of the game, maybe in the second half, like early on in the second half, but he surprises me when he doesn't have the stats because he plays so hard and like I can just feel it. And he has that realness about him, right? He doesn't have that fakeness, the fake look that a lot of guys in the league have. It just won't give you the effort in these type of games because the season is really about building themselves up, and especially Mark Williams. Obviously, he wants to get paid, but he's a guy that wants to contribute to the Suns and make sure that we have a chance to make the playoffs, maybe even a 6th seed or a 7th seed, because that's the way this team is playing right now. That's the potential they think they have is to make it up there because of injuries, teams struggling at times, like the way they figured out Wembanyama, like they're adapting to teams so quickly, like I said earlier, that just makes it hard for other teams to really kind of get back on their feet. And I think Mark Williams is a big reason for that. But I do have a stat too, really quick.
Ooh, dang, stat me.
Actually, a couple stats for Mark Williams. So out of all the centers in the league right now, he's 8th among centers and opponents' points in the paint. He's 13th in win shares defensively, 9th in steals, 8th in defensive rebound percentage. Like the Suns were the worst defense to start the season within the first 3 or 4 games, but they're slowly, like I said before, like kind of creeping up there. And I feel like he's that guy. He's right there with all the dudes like Bam. He's there with not Wimby, but he's with all the real good centers, the Hartensteins, like those guys that are just a force down there. It's hard to score against them. So he's really making a name for himself right now, and he's one of my favorite players, obviously.
Yeah, I was like thinking, I'm like, should I get a jersey? Like a T-shirt jersey of Mark Williams. Like number 15, I like it. It's like Alan Williams wore 15, he wore 15. I could double dip, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But kind of to your point, in the way that this team is climbing up those rankings, and the way that this team is, they know their role. That's what really kind of came to fruition tonight, and we've been witnessing it this season. But everybody understands their role, and they focus on executing to the best of their role. And it's funny because, again, the front end of the season, Devin Booker talking with the media said, not everybody's goals were aligned last year. And this is a team that you're feeling has those goals aligned. Now, granted, we're on a heater right now. We're feeling good. The other side of the coin will exist. The other side of the pillow will exist. But we're going to at least enjoy it right now. All right. Anything else you want to talk about relative to Brightside, or is it time to talk about what goes in the burn book, Matthew?
Yeah, let's burn it up.
The Suns Jam Session Burn Book.
The Suns Jam Session Burn Book.
All right, Matthew, you said Jordan Ott's going in your burn book. Tell me why.
Yeah, so at the end of the third quarter, when you have like Jordan Goodwin out there, you have Colin Gillespie, you have even Ryan Dunn out there. I kind of want to start seeing when they're up by 30. I want to see, I want to see Fleming, and I want to see Kaman in there, with those guys. Because I think eventually what we're going to see is those guys take over later in the season to where they're going to kind of blend them into that second unit, hopefully, because that's what I see as potential later, 50, 60 games into the season. But I want to see it now in these type of games. I don't want to wait till like garbage time to see Kaman. You know what I mean? I want to see like minutes that still kind of matter to hold that lead and see how they look with those guys, especially with Colin Gillespie. Like that's one guy that can throw him the lob, right? Even Goodwin at times, like he was in the garbage time with him. He had a few lobs and they didn't look great, but Colin needs to be that guy, I think, working with Kaman and Fleming. And I just want to see more of that. And I think Ott needs to kind of move up Kaman a little bit more to the front end of the game, more than just the back and garbage time.
The only thing I'll say on opposing that, because I don't disagree. I think that especially in these situations, there needs to be more of an opportunity for development, because this is the second time this season that the team's gone up 30 points. It's like the fourth time total that they've been up 20 points. There's opportunity there to go, you know what? We're going to throw a 5-minute stint or a 3-minute stint at the back end of the third quarter with Kaman Malawach and or Rasheer Fleming out there with some of the regular guys to start to get them up to speed more. The only thing that I'll say conversely, and the reason what might be holding him back is there's something that Jornot is seeing in practice that's showcasing to him that neither of them are ready for those opportunities. Because Kaman Malawach, he easily has the least amount of minutes played by anyone in the top 10 of the draft. And some of those teams are trying to be competitive, but you look at New Orleans, right? Derek Queen, 13th overall, as we mentioned, and Jeremiah Fears taking 7th overall. They're getting a ton of minutes tonight because they're trying to develop them. Now, obviously, we've had this conversation before. I've been of the stance. It's like, listen, when the opportunity presents itself, we're going to start to see their integration. We're still looking on building the foundation. But that isn't to say that I don't disagree that, hey, come on Malawach for 3 minutes in the third or 3 minutes at the front end of the second. There's a lot of value in that to where you're not putting him out there so long that he's getting burned, but you're putting him out there to where he can feel some non-garbage time minutes where, let's face it, the garbage time minutes become the summer league. They become, hey, I've got the ball. I'm going to try to score in isolation because I want an opportunity to put some film on tape or to pad a couple statistics. So maybe somewhere, someday, somehow along the line, someone will take a chance on me. And that's what starts to happen. So I agree. We need to potentially, especially if we're doing this. I mean, this is a good stretch. These next 10 games, right? Tonight, we play Dallas on Wednesday, who I don't know if they beat the Bucks tonight, but I know that they were competing
they
with
lost.
them.
I think Flag had 26 points or something. But
then we play Indiana the next night. They're 1-9. That's a great game where, again, it's sub out those Oso minutes. Give them, now granted, the Oso minutes were unbelievably successful tonight because, as I mentioned before, the plus 17 run was with Oso on the floor. He didn't do anything, but he was out there. But yeah, I'd like to see a little bit. But again, it's just the patience must be exercised. And again, is seeing something that's negating that, I guess.
Yeah, and especially in a game like this where it seems like the Suns were kind of playing around with them in the fourth quarter. And again, I still wish these games would be over at 6 minutes left because they kept reviewing everything. Then there was the technical. They do that every time because it was 2 hours. As soon as it hit the 7 minute mark, 2 hour game. It should have been over at 2:10. It was still a 2.5 hour game. It should have been well over, but they do that obviously for good reasons to make money and keep showing us games. But I do think though he's doing the right thing. I think this is just the fan of me. I want to see what Malawach looks like. But Ott is doing the right thing only because you don't want to mess with the mojo. He's throwing Livers out there. I like Livers. I think he's fun. He's a very quirky dude out there. He's done well. He's done fine. I like him. I like his minutes. But, the Oso minutes at times are bad. Tonight, still a little bad. Making Dairy Queen look pretty good against him at times when Dairy Queen looked really bad all night. I can't believe that's the draft pick or their 13th pick. But I don't know. I just want to see Malawach because I think the summer league, he looks that was the worst summer league I've ever seen from any player. But I want to see maybe that was just a blip. But it's gonna take some time.
Malawach?
Yeah, his summer league I thought was terrible.
I thought he had a fantastic summer league.
Oh, I thought it was
because go back and look at the stats. They're good. I think that he progressed in every game, and he progressed half to half in the game. In the first half, he'd come out and he looked pretty bumbly, and then the second half, all of a sudden, it's okay. He's running within the confines of an offense. He's understanding where his spots are. Still a little Bambi-ish, but I just want to play this.
Man, tired is just in the mind. Come on, Malawach Tower.
I really like that drop, and I want to play it more. And I'm still trying to think of what I want to do for Rasheer Fleming because it's sheer madness, Rasheer madness or something like that. But it doesn't matter because we're not going to see these fucking guys. I only had one thing in my burn book tonight, Matthew, and it was the Pelicans. So when I think of the Pelicans, I think of this. I think they have the third worst color scheme in all of basketball. Can you think of any other teams that have worse color schemes?
I like that you brought this up. No, I do. I don't like the Raptors color scheme right now. Red and black, too much red.
It does have a lot of red.
Not good. Calling Commanders games over here. I don't know.
I got two that are worse than I feel like the Pelicans. And the Pelicans, they have it's red and blue, right? But then they have that yellow. That's just, again, if you look at our score graphic, you can see that kind of ugly yellow. That's their tertiary color. Don't like that. I think Sacramento's color scheme is worse. because it is, because it's purple and gray, and that's it. And if you ever try to do anything with purple and gray, because I mess with the logos a lot and I put them in our graphics, it's really kind of gross. It's like the gray is too gray to really make the purple ever pop. And so if you look at like a Kings logo that's two-toned, it just doesn't look good. And then the worst one's Brooklyn. Brooklyn has the worst colors because it's just like black and white, and it's pretty lame, right? But I also think that they have the second worst logo. The Pelicans have the second worst logo in the NBA behind the Thunder. The Thunder easily have the worst logo. And then they probably have the worst mascot in the NBA. The Pelicans. It's like the worst. Tell me a worst mascot.
The Cardinals, but
that's not in the NBA.
I know. I don't know who has the worst, honestly. I think a lot of the NBA names are kind of spot on. Like I always loved all the NBA ones, but the Pelicans, obviously the newer ones, like aren't as good. The Thunder, like that's pretty lame too. Like you already pointed out their colors, but the Pelicans, so their color scheme, their arena, everything that they have, and especially with the Raptors, like there's something to do with all the red and the black, and it's just too much. And it's Brooklyn too. Like it's just, I don't feel like teams can win wearing those uniforms and being in those environments. There's something
the Raptors
about
have
that.
One.
Well, they're coming back. I know they won a championship, but they won a championship with Kawhi. But there's something about just too much red at times. It just drives me nuts, dude. I don't like it. I hate the red. No one likes the red courts, especially with the NBA.
Oh, the red courts are really abominable.
Those are really bad.
They're tough to digest. Anything else you have in your burn book before we head on to the subreddit stakeout in the Big Easy tonight?
No, but can I do a little trivia time really quick? I just have a little thing.
You got a trivia for me?
You know what time it is.
Trivia time. All right, so Grayson Allen.
I will say, hold on. I will say that I always throw trivia times out at you guys. Trivia is like my favorite thing on the planet. I love Trivial Pursuit. I love all this stuff. So hit me with some trivia, man. I'm so excited for this.
Idiot over there, yeah.
I am.
So the 10 threes that Grayson Allen had today, obviously the first time. But how many times do you think he had 8 in one game?
Ooh, 8? I know he had 9 3 times.
Okay.
So 8, I'd probably say 5.
So he had 8. So
wow.
8, yeah. He had 8 of them. And I brought this up because I was looking at it. And Steph Curry, do you want to guess how many games he had with 8?
With 8 or more?
With 8 more? Yeah.
Like 50.
No, way higher than that.
Really? Holy shit, dude. That's insane.
Dude, it was. Oh, yeah. Let me hear.
No. Just I don't know. If it's more than 50, I'm already shocked.
Dude, it's 89 times.
Jeez. 89 times. Steph Curry has had 8 or more threes.
3-pointers. Yep, 89. And then the second place, do you want to guess who it is?
Is it Ray Allen?
No, actually, Ray Allen.
James Harden?
No. It is Dame time. Dame Lillard.
Oh, okay.
32. Second place, 32. Damn. Crazy, dude. So, yeah. And then Steph Curry has 49 games with 9 or more.
Jeez. That's nuts.
Yeah, he's crazy. Or 42, something like that.
That's nuts.
That one.
Good trivia time.
Anyways, good stuff, huh?
Subreddit time.
The Suns Jam Session Subreddit Stakeout.
Brought to you by NetAlayers.com. If you need an absolute unit, NetAlayers.com's got an absolute unit for you. Matthew was in New Orleans, went dressed up. It appears as the Invisible Man, so no one would recognize him as a Suns fan as he was seeing what they were saying about the Suns. Matthew, what'd they have to say about the Suns tonight?
Well, I mean, speaking of units, I feel like these guys would rather just chop off their unit than watch another one of these Pelicans games. They're pretty. I'm assuming these are all men, just because of the wording. Why? Quotation marks. Why do teams never miss threes against us? Because we play ass defense and they're always open. That's why.
That's why. Poor perimeter defense is the answer.
That's a good reason. We're getting cooked by Grayson Allen and his little cousin. What the fuck, bro? So obviously that's Gillespie.
Call him Gillespie.
His little cousin. At least I don't have to stay up late and watch the rest of this. Yeah, that used to be the comments for the Suns.
Yeah.
Disgusting game, man. Get Willie off the fucking basketball team. So I'm assuming Willie, he's the first one on the hot seat, right? Other than the Mavs GM.
Yeah, I think the challenge with him, Nico Harrison in Dallas is definitely on the hot seat. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that you could defend Willie Green with is the fact that, again, and it's the thing that gets him, that keeps him off the hot seat every year, is the fact that they're injured. They're always injured. Yeah. So it's like, is it Willie or the fact that they don't have their top tier talent? So, but he's definitely got to be one of those guys who's definitely in the running for first coach fired.
Yeah, well, he's had his chance with that team. I think.
Many times.
Why are we so shit? And then there was a whole lot of just logging off early. So not a whole lot of late comments, but has some shame turning this one off. I don't know. This is one of the worst teams I've ever seen play basketball in my life. So that's it. That's all I got.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Before we hand out the Jamstar, one thing I did want to mention was the fact that, how nice is it having a team that can finally match Jose Alvarado's annoying energy? Like, it feels good to be the irritating ones instead of him.
Yes.
He's always been the irritant. The whole time I was waiting for Grayson, or I'm sorry, Dylan Brooks to just DM up and get into it with him, and it didn't happen because Dylan Brooks is kind of like a junkyard dog who's just annoying. And then you got little Jose Alvarado's out there just yapping like a little Chewini or something, and he's always been a pest. And I didn't feel his peskiness at all tonight. Maybe that's a product of the team that he plays for, or the fact that we are more annoying. So it's yeah, you can't out annoy us, dude. We own that condo.
Yeah, you can't. But he's like a hyena, dude. I feel like, and we maybe have a few lines on this team when it comes to annoyance. So he's I I can't really be myself around these guys. I can't be annoying because they out annoy me. And plus, when he's actually going at our guys defensively, we handle them fine. I felt right. I don't think he's ever been a defensive MVP, or not MVP, but first team all defensive player. But he's definitely a dude that's kind of worried about this guy being pesky and getting the loose balls and tipping it away. But
yeah.
You don't have to worry about that with this guy tonight because we have our own, and they're lions, I guess, or tigers, or bears.
Simba, you forgot who you are, therefore you've forgotten me.
Jamstar of the game.
All right, Jamsters, I don't think it's going to be a long discussion for this one, but it's a reminder to hit that thumbs up button if you happen to be watching this video on YouTube. If you're on Twitter, go over to our YouTube, go over to anywhere you listen to podcasts, and please just give us a 5-star rating, write it down on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it right here on the pod. Appreciate the recent wave of support that we've had, slowly moving our way towards 4,000 subscribers. So thank you. We're headed there. So appreciate that very much. Gray Man is what Christian Zabrowski says. Allen from Mark Brooks. David Ray gives it to Grayson Allen. Keith Nettles gives it to Gray Goose. Gray Goose.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. I'm Suns Fever. I'm thinking maybe it should be Allen. It's Grayson Allen in this one, right, Matthew?
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%.
I think it was even in the first half without the 42 points.
Yeah, that 17 points, because the ultimate end was 17 points in that second quarter, where the Suns end up scoring 35 points to 19. Mm-hmm. So easily him. So now the Suns are 6-5, and we turn our attention to the next game, which is going to be Wednesday night against the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks, man, a team that, as you lost by 2 tonight to the Milwaukee Bucks. So they're now 3-8. They're the 14th seed in the Western Conference. Tell me your thoughts on Dallas.
I still feel like they're kind of just working their way to having flag play point guard, but they kind of moved away. They put in I can't forget his name. That's why I was blanking in the beginning. Who the fuck did they get as their point guard to fill in for Kyrie? D'Angelo Russell. So he came in. D'Lo came in and still didn't look good. Obviously, you said they were fighting the Bucks tonight. Still lost the game. Flag at 26 points. They're trying to really rush this flag thing. And honestly, I thought the Mavericks are going to be great this year. I had them second in the Western Conference, and I'm looking really bad. But I do remember, Jason Kidd has a thing where it does take time, and he goes through all the blame and all of that, and then it kind of works out the other end. I'm not saying the Giannis thing is going to be the flag thing, but he's trying to push that to where he's going to control the ball more and be the main guy. I don't know if that's Jason Kidd or that's Nico or what, but Jason Kidd obviously has a lot of power forwards on that team, but they're a big team. Anthony Davis is hurt.
We could use a power forward.
It would be nice, dude. But then what about Grayson Allen? He's not a power forward.
No. He's still around.
Just don't put Grayson Allen on the bench. Well, yeah, I think that, they're a team that is trying to work their way back to 500, and they're 3-7 right now. It's going to take some time, but they have their group. They have a good group of guys. Anthony Davis is not going to be available, but off and on. So that's the one thing that sucks. But he wasn't even playing good anyways. He was out of shape coming into the year. So there's just a lot going on behind the scenes with the team right now. That's another hot seat right there with Jason Kidd. So I think it's a game the Suns can win, but they're going to have a lot of size. I don't think you're going to bring in a man at all. I just think the Suns have to keep moving the ball around the perimeter, keep shooting the three, keep feeding Royce and Grayson Allen. I'm not going to say he's going to make 10 again tonight or Wednesday night, but those two guys right there are going to have to be killer in this game to actually give us a chance.
Yeah, to your point, this is a team that is definitely trying to find itself offensively, right? Dallas is 29th in the league in offensive rating, but they're 4th in the league in defensive rating. So that's where the challenge is going to come for Phoenix. Playing Cooper Flagg out of position, that's a challenge. A lot of people are saying the first thing that needs to happen is Nico Harrison, their general manager, needs to go. And the second thing that needs to happen is they need to trade Anthony Davis. That's kind of the way that the Dallas Mavericks are kind of looking at their franchise right now. Obviously, very underwhelming the way that they've started. And I'll say the same thing about them as I said about entering the game against the Pelicans, is watch out for a wounded dog, man, because they bite the hardest. And this is a team that's trying to find itself. There's a lot of people who are frustrated within that organization, both internally and externally at the performance. And so when you have talent like they have, because they do have talent on their roster, granted, as you mentioned, Anthony Davis, day-to-day with a leg issue, Kyrie Irving's out with the knee, Klay Thompson's day-to-day with illness, Derek Lively day-to-day with a knee, Dante Exum day-to-day. I mean, a lot of day-to-day. So the key with the Suns playing the Mavericks on Wednesday, first thing is keep an eye on that injury report, see who's actually playing. But Max Christie, Daniel Gafford, they have size, as you mentioned. It's a game where the Suns, and I don't expect the Suns to come into this not mentally ready to play. The key, though, is to start hot, or at least survive the first quarter and the first half. Don't get big down. Don't go down big early. That's what I'm trying to say here. And if they do that, I feel like, again, this team is always going to be in it. That's the fun thing, man. The team's always going to be in it. So we're going to continue to watch, to continue to see how they operate, and continue to stack good games. That's the goal. So I hope that happens Wednesday.
Let's feed into the pace too. Like Gillespie, get him out on the run, have him, kind of manage the offense a lot more in this one. And I feel like the fast break is going to be huge. Team rebounding just going to lead to the fast break for the Suns. And like you've been seeing, like there's been a lot of obviously tip balls leading to fast breaks for the Suns, but you have like the right group of guys that are athletic and enough to finish around the rim and to share the ball. So I think whatever the Suns can do, just keep the pace up, I feel like, and keep going. Run them out of the building.
Yeah, currently, if you look at our graphics, Jamsters, one of the things that we do is for every podcast, we adjust accordingly what the 4 metrics are for the Suns, right? Based on how they land in the NBA relative to 4 statistics, 3-pointers, speed, the other ones, defense, and something else. So entering this one, they get 3 bars for speed, which means we're one of the slower teams in the league. All right. That ranks us, I think, 24th in the league in speed. I'd like to see a little bit of a increase in that capacity, but smart, disciplined basketball. Yeah. Because you don't want to get too sped up and start turning the ball over. I think that was probably one of the best statistics from tonight, is the fact that the Suns had 29 points off turnovers. The biggest challenge over these past couple weeks is they've been doing what they need to do to get extra possessions. They've been beating teams on the offensive rebound. In week 3, they were plus 20 on offensive rebounds over their 3 games. And they were like plus 2 overall in turnovers. But they were plus in possessions. But they weren't converting them to points. And that's the key. You got to convert to points. And any team on any night can beat anybody. This team, the Suns, they just got to continue this forward momentum, man. They just got to continue the forward momentum.
Yeah, and I believe it will happen. I just remember always trying to guess these games, who's going to win, who's not, who's going to show up. Like, you just count on this team to show up. That's all that matters.
Yep, count them to show up. I'm all for it. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Suns Jam Session Podcast. Again, my name is John Voida, a.k.a. Darth Voida on the socials. You can read my writing at brightsideofthesun.com. His name is Matthew Lissy. You can follow him at Matthew Lissy and read his writing at Bright Side of the Sun. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here, Matthew?
No, I'm excited to see you guys again Wednesday night. Thank
All
you
right,
so much,
everybody, make sure you subscribe, rate, review. Have a great night, and
love your family.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.